Lily Johnson wasn't like the other girls at her school. From a young age, she felt the sting of cruel remarks and mocking laughter. Her classmates didn't see her kind heart or her gentle nature. They only saw the surface. With every passing day, Lily's self-esteem withered under the harsh light of their judgment. Her mornings began with the same routine, staring at her reflection, wishing she could change what she saw. The mirror seemed to magnify her insecurities, each blemish and flaw becoming a beacon of her perceived inadequacies. At school, the taunts followed her like a shadow, a constant reminder that she was different. But Lily was more than the sum of her fears and doubts. Beneath the surface lay a reservoir of kindness and warmth. She would help anyone in need, always with a smile, even when her own heart felt heavy. Her spirit, though bruised, remained unbroken. One day, she discovered a new world, a world where a brush stroke here and a dab of color there could transform her face. Makeup became her armor, a way to shield herself from the scorn and find a semblance of confidence. With each new technique she mastered, Lily felt a spark of hope. The first time she walked into school with her new look, the whispers changed. The laughter was replaced with awe and admiration. Lily, once invisible, had become the center of attention. For the first time, she felt seen, not for the kindness in her heart, but for the beauty she had created on her face. Yet, this newfound attention brought with it a new set of challenges. Lily had to navigate the waters of popularity, a place she never imagined she'd be. It was a double-edged sword. The more she relied on her makeup, the further she drifted from her true self. In the midst of her transformation, Lily clung to her inner goodness. Despite her external change, she continued to help others, to show compassion and empathy. She hoped that one day, people would see past her appearance and recognize the beauty of her soul. It all started on a chilly autumn day, the kind where the air has a crisp bite and the leaves crunch underfoot. Lily Johnson, with her books clutched tightly to her chest, walked through the school gates, hoping today might be different. But as soon as she stepped into the hallway, she felt the familiar prickle of eyes on her. It began with whispers, soft at first, then louder, carrying words like ugly and freak. Lily tried to ignore them, focusing on getting to her locker. But then came the laughter, cruel and cutting, echoing off the walls. Her heart pounded, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She wanted to disappear, to become invisible. During lunch, it got worse. She sat alone, as usual, picking at her food, trying to block out the surrounding noise. But the other students had different plans. A group of girls approached, their faces twisted with malicious glee. They knocked her tray off the table, sending her lunch spilling onto the floor. The cafeteria erupted in laughter as Lily knelt to clean up the mess, tears stinging her eyes. "Hey Lily, need help with your face?" One of the girls sneered, holding up a compact mirror mockingly. Lily's hands trembled as she picked up her food, wishing she could vanish. The taunts didn't stop there. They followed her to her classes, scribbling nasty notes on her desk, whispering behind her back. Each day felt like a battle, and Lily's spirit began to wane. She dreaded going to school, dreaded facing the relentless cruelty of her peers. The bullying chipped away at her, piece by piece, until she felt like a shadow of herself. She started avoiding mirrors altogether, unable to face the person they mocked so viciously. But despite the darkness surrounding her, a tiny flame of hope burned within Lily. She yearned for a way out, for a means to escape the torment and find some semblance of peace. Little did she know, this hope would soon lead her to a discovery that would change her life forever. Lily Johnson found solace in the places where light rarely reached. She sought out the forgotten corners of the school, where she could disappear, even if just for a little while. The janitor's closet, the back row of the library, a bench behind the gym, these became her sanctuaries. Each day, as the final bell rang, she would gather her belongings and slip away before the crowded hallways could swallow her. She had become adept at moving quietly, unnoticed, a ghost among her peers. In these hidden spots, she allowed herself to breathe, to let the tension ease from her shoulders. She would pull out her sketchbook, drawing the faces and places she imagined, a world where she was accepted and loved. One rainy afternoon, Lily found a small, deserted room at the end of a rarely used corridor. It was filled with old desks and chairs, abandoned and forgotten like she often felt. The rain tapped gently against the window, a soothing rhythm that calmed her restless heart. She sat by the window, the dim light casting soft shadows around her, and lost herself in her sketches. In these moments, Lily felt a semblance of peace. She could forget the cruel words, the the mocking laughter, and just be herself. She didn't have to wear a mask or pretend to be someone she wasn't. Here, in the shadows, she could dream of a different life. But as much as these hidden places provided comfort, they also deepened her loneliness. She watched from afar as other students laughed and chatted, living lives she could only imagine. She yearned to be a part of their world, to feel the warmth of friendship and acceptance. One day, as she sat in her secluded spot, she overheard a conversation that would change everything. Two girls from her class were talking about a makeup tutorial they had watched online. They spoke of transformation, of how makeup could make someone look completely different. Lily's heart raced with a mixture of curiosity and desperation. Could this be the answer she had been seeking? The idea took root in her mind, growing stronger with each passing day. She began to research, watching countless videos, learning the art of makeup. Slowly, a plan formed. She would reinvent herself, create a new version of Lily Johnson, one who could stand tall and face the world without fear. Lily Johnson's bedroom became her sanctuary, a place where she could experiment and discover the power of transformation. Every evening, after the turmoil of school, she would retreat to her room, lock the door, and immerse herself in the world of makeup. Her desk, once cluttered with schoolbooks and sketches, was now a vanity covered in brushes, palettes, and bottles of foundation. She started with the basics: foundation to even out her skin tone, concealer to hide the dark circles under her eyes, and a touch of blush to bring color to her cheeks. Her first attempts were clumsy, the makeup uneven and awkward, but Lily was determined. Each mistake was a lesson learned, each small success a step closer to her goal. Hours turned into days and days into weeks. Lily watched countless tutorials, absorbing tips and tricks from makeup artists around the world. She practiced contouring to define her features, mastered the perfect winged eyeliner, and experimented with bold lip colors that made her feel powerful. Her hands moved with increasing confidence, transforming her face into a canvas of possibilities. One Saturday afternoon, after weeks of practice, Lily looked at her reflection and barely recognized the girl staring back at her. She had become an artist, using makeup to craft a new identity. The insecurity that had plagued her began to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of control and confidence. She saw beauty where there had once been doubt. The real test came on Monday morning. Lily woke early, her heart pounding with anticipation and anxiety. She carefully applied her makeup, each stroke deliberate and practiced. When she finally stepped back to examine her work, she felt a rush of exhilaration. This was it. This was the moment she would unveil her transformation to the world. Walking into school that day was like stepping onto a stage. Heads turned, whispers filled the air, and eyes widened in surprise. The mocking laughter and cruel words were replaced with admiration and curiosity. "Is that really Lily Johnson?" she heard someone murmur. The transformation was complete. She had become the deity she had envisioned. With her newfound appearance came an unexpected challenge. As people began to accept and even admire her, Lily grappled with the authenticity of her new identity. She had created a mask that the world adored, but beneath the layers of foundation and eyeliner, she remained the same Lily, the girl who still yearned for genuine connection and acceptance for who she truly was. For now, though, she reveled in her success. Makeup had given her a new lease on life, a way to face the world with her head held high. But deep down, Lily knew that this was just the beginning of her journey. The art of transformation had given her confidence, but the path to self-acceptance and true inner beauty lay ahead. Monday morning came with a mix of nerves and excitement. Lily Johnson stood in front of her bedroom mirror, meticulously applying the finishing touches to her makeup. Today was the day she would reveal her new self to the world. She took a deep breath, grabbed her backpack, and headed out the door, her heart pounding in her chest. As she walked through the school gates, she felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. She kept her head down, avoiding eye contact, but she could already sense the difference. Whispers filled the air, but this time, they weren't laced with mockery. Instead, there was a buzz of curiosity and astonishment. Lily's first class was English, and she could feel the stares as soon as she entered the room. She sat in her usual seat, trying to appear nonchalant, but her hands trembled slightly. The teacher, Mr. Thompson, paused mid-sentence when he saw her. "Lily, is that you?" he asked, his voice a mix of surprise and admiration. She nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Yes, it's me." The rest of the class exchanged glances, their eyes wide with disbelief. Lily could hear snippets of their conversations. "She looks amazing," one girl whispered. "I didn't know she could look like that," another murmured. For the first time, Lily felt seen, not for the person she used to be, but for the beauty she had created. At lunch, Lily hesitated before entering the cafeteria. This was always the hardest part of her day, where the bullying was most intense. But today, she felt a newfound sense of courage. She walked in, her head held high, and immediately, the room fell silent. All eyes were on her, and she could feel the weight of their gazes. She spotted an empty table and made her way over, each step measured and confident. As she sat down, she noticed a few students whispering and pointing in her direction. Her heart raced, but she maintained her composure. Slowly, a few curious students approached her table, their expressions a mix of admiration and curiosity. "Hi, Lily," one of the popular girls, Jessica, said with a friendly smile. "You look incredible. Do you want to sit with us?" Lily's heart skipped a beat. This was a moment she had dreamed of but never thought possible. She nodded, her voice steady. "Sure, I'd like that." As she joined Jessica and her friends, the reality of her transformation began to sink in. She was no longer the girl who hid in the shadows, tormented by her peers. She had reinvented herself, and the world was taking notice. For the first time in her life, Lily felt a sense of belonging, a feeling that she had longed for but never experienced. The rest of the day passed in a blur of compliments and friendly interactions. Students who had never given her a second glance were now eager to talk to her, to be her friend. Lily reveled in the attention, but a small part of her couldn't help but wonder if they would still like her if they knew the real her, the girl beneath the makeup. But for now, she allowed herself to bask in the warmth of acceptance. This was her rebirth, her chance to start anew. And as she walked out of school that day, she couldn't help but smile. The world had finally seen her, and it felt wonderful. As days turned into weeks, Lily Johnson's transformation continued to captivate her peers. She was no longer the girl who blended into the background. She had become a beacon of beauty and confidence. Her newfound popularity grew rapidly, and soon, she was known as the deity of the school. Every morning, Lily meticulously applied her makeup, perfecting her look with each stroke. Her confidence soared as she walked through the halls, greeted by admiring glances and friendly smiles. The bullying that once haunted her became a distant memory, replaced by a sense of belonging she had never known. Lily's social calendar filled up quickly. She was invited to parties, study groups, and social events. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages from new friends, eager to include her in their plans. It was a whirlwind of attention and excitement, and Lily found herself at the center of it all. One Friday night, she attended a party at Lucas Smith's house. The sprawling mansion was packed with students, music thumping through the walls. As Lily entered, all eyes turned to her, and a hush fell over the crowd. She felt a rush of exhilaration as Lucas, one of the most popular boys in school, approached her with a charming smile. "Lily, you look amazing," he said, his eyes shining with admiration. "I'm so glad you could make it." "Thanks, Lucas," she replied, her heart racing. "It's great to be here." The night unfolded like a dream. Lucas introduced Lily to his friends, who welcomed her with open arms. They laughed, danced, and shared stories, and for the first time, Lily felt like she truly belonged. Lucas stayed by her side, his presence a comforting reminder that she was accepted and admired. As the party continued, Lily noticed Henry Adams, another popular student, watching her from across the room. His gaze was intense, and when their eyes met, he smiled warmly. He made his way over, and Lucas stepped aside to let him speak. "Hi, Lily," Henry said, his voice smooth and inviting. "I've heard a lot about you. You really are as incredible as everyone says." Lily blushed, her confidence growing with each compliment. "Thank you, Henry. It's nice to finally meet you." The three of them spent the rest of the evening together, and Lily couldn't believe her luck. She was surrounded by people who valued her, who saw her not just for her appearance, but for the person she was becoming. The bonds she formed that night felt genuine, and she cherished every moment. However, as her popularity soared, so did the pressure to maintain her flawless image. Lily spent hours each day perfecting her makeup, ensuring that not a single blemish was visible. She feared that if anyone saw her without it, they would reject her, and the fragile world she had built would come crashing down. Despite the mounting pressure, Lily thrived in her new role. She embraced the attention, the friendships, and the opportunities that came her way. The once shy girl who hid in the shadows had risen to become a deity in the eyes of her peers, and she reveled in the transformation. But deep within, a small voice whispered doubts. Was this newfound acceptance real, or was it all based on a facade? Lily pushed the thoughts aside, determined to enjoy her moment in the spotlight. After all, she had worked hard to get here, and she wasn't about to let anything or anyone take it away from her. As Lily Johnson settled into her new life, she found herself navigating unexpected complexities, the most prominent being the attention of Lucas Smith and Henry Adams. Both boys had quickly become integral parts of her social circle, and their interest in her went beyond friendship. Lily was thrust into the center of a burgeoning love triangle that left her heart racing and her mind spinning. Lucas was the first to make his feelings known. His charm was undeniable, and his confidence was infectious. One afternoon, as they sat together under a sprawling oak tree in the school courtyard, Lucas turned to her, his eyes sincere. "Lily, I can't stop thinking about you," he confessed, his voice low and earnest. "You're amazing, and I want to be more than just friends." Lily's heart fluttered. She had never imagined someone like Lucas would ever look at her that way. But before she could respond, the bell rang, and the moment was lost in the rush of students heading to their next class. She promised herself she would give him an answer soon, but her thoughts were soon complicated by another encounter. Henry Adams, with his quiet intensity and genuine kindness, approached her after school a few days later. They walked together, the sun setting and casting a golden glow over the campus. Henry's presence was calming, and Lily felt a connection with him that was different from the one she had with Lucas. "Lily," Henry began, stopping to face her, "I know Lucas likes you, but I need you to know something. Care about you too. A lot. And I want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what." The sincerity in Henry's eyes made Lily's heart ache. She was torn between two wonderful people, each offering her something different but equally valuable. She spent sleepless nights pondering her feelings, weighing the pros and cons, but the decision seemed impossible. The school buzzed with speculation about who Lily would choose. Her new friends offered advice, but ultimately, they only added to her confusion. She appreciated Lucas's boldness and the excitement he brought into her life, but she also cherished Henry's steady support and the sense of security he provided. One evening, after another exhausting day of school and social dilemmas, Lily sat in her room, staring at her reflection. She had come so far, yet here she was, facing another challenge that felt just as daunting as her previous struggles with bullying and self-esteem. The makeup that had once been her armor now felt like a mask, hiding her true feelings from the world. Determined to find clarity, Lily decided to talk to both boys individually. She arranged to meet Lucas first, at their favorite spot under the oak tree. As she explained her confusion and her need for time, Lucas listened, his expression a mix of understanding and disappointment. "I get it, Lily," he said softly. "I'll wait for you. Take all the time you need." Next, she met Henry at the park where they often walked together. She poured out her heart, admitting her torn feelings and her fear of hurting him. Henry took her hand, his touch gentle and reassuring. "Lily, whatever you decide, I'll respect it," he said. "Your happiness is what matters to me." The conversations left Lily with a sense of relief, but also a deeper awareness of the gravity of her decision. She realized that this wasn't just about choosing between Lucas and Henry. It was about understanding her own heart and what she truly wanted in a relationship. In the end, Lily knew she needed to be true to herself, to listen to the voice within her that had guided her through so many challenges already. The path to that understanding was still unfolding, but for the first time, she felt ready to face it with honesty and courage. Lily Johnson's new life was a delicate balance, a dance between the person she had become and the person she had always been. The flawless exterior she presented to the world masked the insecurities and fears that still lingered beneath. Each morning, as she meticulously applied her makeup, she felt a pang of unease, a reminder of the fragile line she walked. In the hallways of the school, she moved with a newfound confidence. Students admired her, teachers praised her, and she was invited to join activities she had once only dreamed of. Yet, every time she caught her reflection, she felt a dissonance, as if the girl in the mirror was a stranger. The duality of her existence became more pronounced with each passing day. One evening, as she sat at her vanity removing her makeup, the transformation process felt like peeling away layers of armor. She watched her familiar, bare face emerge, and with it, the insecurities she had tried to conceal. The stark contrast between her two selves weighed heavily on her mind. That night, Lily had a vivid dream. She stood in front of her peers, but this time, she wore no makeup. Their expressions shifted from admiration to shock, then to disdain. She woke with a start, her heart racing, the fear of exposure gnawing at her. The dream was a harsh reminder of her deepest fear, that without her carefully constructed appearance, she would once again become a target for ridicule and rejection. The pressure to maintain her image began to take its toll. She spent hours perfecting her look, fearful of even the smallest flaw. Social gatherings, once a source of joy, now felt like performances where she had to be constantly on guard. The compliments and attention, while flattering, felt conditional, tied to her appearance rather than her true self. Lucas and Henry, the two boys vying for her affection, added to her internal conflict. Lucas loved her confidence and beauty, often showering her with compliments about her looks. Henry, on the other hand, seemed to see through the facade, often expressing his admiration for her kindness and intelligence. His words brought comfort, but also a nagging fear that he might be disappointed if he saw her without her mask. One day, during a quiet moment in the library, Henry found her. He noticed the tension in her eyes, the way she seemed distracted even as she pretended to read. He sat down beside her, concern etched on his face. "Lily, are you okay?" he asked softly. "You seem distant." She sighed, feeling the weight of her dual existence pressing down on her. "It's just, sometimes I feel like I'm living two lives," she admitted. "The person everyone sees and the person I really am." Henry reached out, taking her hand in his. "Lily, you don't have to pretend with me. I like you for who you are, not just for how you look." His words were a balm to her troubled heart, but they also highlighted the chasm between her public persona and her private self. She longed to bridge that gap, to find a way to reconcile the two halves of her identity. The journey to self-acceptance was proving to be more challenging than she had ever anticipated. As the days went on, Lily began to seek moments of authenticity. She started small, allowing herself to go without makeup in front of her closest friends, testing the waters of vulnerability. Each time, she felt a mixture of fear and relief, a step closer to uniting her dual selves. The path was far from easy, and the duality of her existence continued to challenge her. But with each step, Lily grew stronger, her courage fueled by the hope that one day, she could be wholly and unapologetically herself. Lily Johnson's secret was a fragile thing, carefully guarded and meticulously maintained. Every morning, she woke up early to ensure that her makeup was perfect, her armor in place before facing the world. She feared the day when her true appearance might be exposed, the day when the illusion she had created would come crashing down. Little did she know that day was fast approaching. It started innocently enough with a routine gym class. The weather was unusually warm, and the physical exertion made everyone sweat profusely. Lily had always been cautious, avoiding situations that might jeopardize her carefully constructed facade. But today, there was no escaping it. As she ran laps around the track, she could feel the makeup on her face begin to smudge and melt. Her heart raced not from the exercise, but from the anxiety of being exposed. She wiped her forehead with her sleeve, hoping to salvage her look, but it was futile. The bell rang, signaling the end of class, and Lily hurried to the locker room, desperate to fix the damage. She splashed water on her face, trying to cool down and repair her makeup, but the more she tried, the worse it got. As she stood in front of the mirror, panic setting in, a group of girls entered the locker room. They saw her distressed state and gathered around, their eyes widening as they took in the sight of Lily without her usual flawless appearance. "Is that really you, Lily?" one of them asked, her voice filled with shock. Lily's hands trembled as she tried to cover her face. "Please, don't look at me," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. But it was too late. Word spread quickly, and by the time Lily emerged from the locker room, the entire school seemed to be buzzing with the news. The whispers followed her down the hall, and she felt the stares of her classmates like daggers. She kept her head down, her cheeks burning with shame. Lucas and Henry, who had been waiting for her outside the gym, saw the commotion and quickly came to her side. Lucas looked confused, while Henry's expression was one of concern. "Lily, what's going on?" Lucas asked, his eyes searching her face. Before she could answer, a cruel voice from the crowd cut through the air. "Looks like the deity isn't so perfect after all." Lily's heart sank. She had feared this moment for so long, and now that it was here, it was even worse than she had imagined. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and utterly alone. But then, Henry stepped forward, his voice calm and steady. "Everyone back off," he said firmly. "Lily is the same person she always was, with or without makeup. If you can't see that, then that's your problem, not hers." His words, though comforting, did little to stop the torrent of whispers and glances. Lucas put a protective arm around Lily's shoulders, guiding her away from the crowd. They found a quiet corner in the school library, where Lily finally allowed herself to cry. "I'm so sorry, Lily," Lucas said softly. I didn't know you felt this way. Henry nodded in agreement. Lily, you don't have to hide who you are. We care about you, the real you. Lily wiped her tears, looking at her friends through blurry eyes. I just wanted to fit in, to be accepted. Henry took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. You are accepted, Lily, and anyone who can't see your true beauty isn't worth your time. In that moment, surrounded by her friends, Lily realized that she didn't need to hide anymore. The fear of being exposed had held her captive for too long. It was time to embrace her true self, to let go of the facade and find strength in her vulnerability. The journey ahead would be difficult, but for the first time, Lily felt a glimmer of hope. She had friends who supported her, who saw beyond her appearance, and that was more powerful than any makeup she could ever wear. In the days following her unmasking, Lily Johnson braced herself for the worst. She expected the whispers to grow louder, the stares to become more piercing, and the bullying to return with a vengeance. But instead, something remarkable happened. Her true friends began to emerge from the shadows. It started with a simple gesture from Jessica, one of the popular girls who had initially invited Lily into her social circle. During lunch, Jessica approached Lily's table with a warm smile, carrying 2 trays of food. She sat down across from Lily, setting one tray in front of her. I figured you might need some company, Jessica said, her voice gentle and sincere. Lily looked up, surprised by the kindness. Thank you, she murmured, her eyes glistening with gratitude. As they ate, Jessica shared stories about her own struggles with self-image and the pressures of fitting in. You know, everyone has something they're insecure about, Jessica admitted, but it's our differences that make us unique. Jessica's words resonated with Lily, and she felt a weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time, she realized that she wasn't alone in her struggles. The bond between them grew stronger, and Lily found comfort in knowing she had a friend who understood her. Over the next few weeks, more students reached out to Lily, offering their support and acceptance. One afternoon, while studying in the library, a shy girl named Emily approached her. Emily had always kept to herself, but she had seen the courage Lily displayed and was inspired by it. Lily, I just wanted to say that I admire you, Emily said softly. It takes a lot of strength to be yourself, especially when it's hard. Lily smiled, touched by Emily's words. Thank you, Emily. It means a lot to hear that. As they chatted, Lily learned that Emily was an artist who often felt overlooked and underestimated. They bonded over their shared love for creativity, and soon, they were spending their free periods sketching together in the art room. Even Lucas and Henry, who had been there for her during the initial fallout, proved to be unwavering in their support. Lucas, with his boundless energy and optimism, continued to boost Lily's spirits with his playful jokes and adventurous plans. He encouraged her to join the school theater club, where she could express herself without the constraints of makeup. Lily, you're an amazing person, Lucas said one day, as they rehearsed a scene together. The world deserves to see the real you, on and off the stage. Henry, ever the steady and thoughtful presence, became Lily's confidant. They would spend hours talking about life, their dreams, and their fears. Henry's quiet strength and genuine care provided Lily with a sense of stability she had never known. One evening, as they sat on the swings at the local park, Henry turned to Lily, his expression serious yet kind. Lily, I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you. You don't have to face anything alone. Lily's heart swelled with gratitude. Thank you, Henry. Your friendship means the world to me. Through these connections, Lily began to understand the true meaning of friendship. It wasn't about fitting in or being perfect. It was about accepting and supporting each other, flaws and all. Her friends saw her for who she truly was, and in their eyes, she found the strength to embrace her authentic self. The fear and doubt that had once consumed her began to fade, replaced by a newfound confidence. Lily no longer needed to hide behind a mask, for she had discovered that real beauty came from within. Surrounded by friends who loved her unconditionally, she felt a sense of belonging she had always yearned for. With each passing day, Lily grew more comfortable in her own skin. The journey of self-acceptance was ongoing, but she knew she was no longer alone. Her true friends had shown her that she was enough, just as she was, and that realization was the most powerful transformation of all. It happened on a rainy Wednesday, a day that seemed ordinary at first, but would become a turning point in Lily Johnson's life. The school was buzzing with activity as students hurried through the halls, trying to avoid the downpour outside. Lily was in the art room working on a project with Emily when disaster struck. They were both absorbed in their work, chatting about their favorite artists, when a group of students burst into the room, soaked from the rain and looking for shelter. Among them was Victoria, a girl known for her sharp tongue and knack for causing trouble. "Lily, your artwork is amazing," Emily said, admiring her friend's latest sketch. "Thanks, Emily. I really enjoy drawing with you," Lily replied, her heart warm with the compliment. Victoria, overhearing their conversation, sauntered over with a smirk. "Oh, look at Miss Perfect and her little sidekick," she sneered. "Think you're better than us now, Lily?" Lily's heart sank, but she tried to remain composed. "I'm just doing what I love, Victoria." "Doing what you love? Please," Victoria scoffed. "Everyone knows you're just a fraud hiding behind makeup." The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to Lily. The tension was palpable, and Lily felt a wave of panic. Before she could respond, Victoria reached out and knocked over a cup of water, sending it splashing across Lily's face and her artwork. Time seemed to freeze as the water dripped from her face, smudging her makeup and ruining her carefully constructed facade. Lily's instinct was to run, to hide, but there was nowhere to go. The students around her gasped, and whispers filled the room. "Is that what she really looks like? I can't believe it. She's just like us after all." Emily rushed to Lily's side, her expression fierce. "Leave her alone, Victoria. You have no right to treat her this way." Victoria shrugged, clearly pleased with herself. "Just thought everyone should see the real Lily." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes, but she stood her ground, refusing to let Victoria see her break. "I'm not hiding anymore," she said, her voice trembling but determined. "This is who I am, with or without makeup." The room was silent for a moment, and then something unexpected happened. One by one, students began to speak up in support of Lily. "You're brave, Lily. We still think you're amazing. Don't let her get to you." Emily squeezed Lily's hand. "You're not alone, Lily. We're here for you." Lily's heart swelled with gratitude and a newfound strength. She looked at Victoria, who seemed taken aback by the wave of support. "I don't need your approval, Victoria," Lily said firmly. "I have real friends who accept me for who I am." Victoria huffed and stormed out of the room, her plan to humiliate Lily thwarted. As the door closed behind her, Lily felt a sense of liberation. She had faced her worst fear and emerged stronger. The rest of the day was a blur of supportive gestures and kind words. Students she barely knew approached her with encouragement, and her friends rallied around her, their loyalty unwavering. The first rupture in her carefully maintained facade had revealed something beautiful, the strength of her true self and the power of genuine friendship. That night, as Lily sat at her vanity, removing the remnants of her makeup, she felt a profound sense of peace. She no longer needed to hide behind a mask. Her true self was enough, and the people who mattered saw and appreciated her for who she really was. The journey ahead would still have its challenges, but Lily knew she was no longer alone. She had discovered her own resilience and the unbreakable bond of true friendship. And with that, she was ready to face whatever came next, head held high, confident in her own skin. The aftermath of Victoria's cruel prank left Lily Johnson more determined than ever to embrace her true self. But as the days turned into weeks, she realized that the journey to self-acceptance was not a straight path. It was filled with twists and turns, with moments of doubt and fear that would challenge her resolve. Lily started to notice how deeply ingrained her dependence on makeup had become. Each morning, she would still find herself reaching for the familiar brushes and palettes, the ritual of applying makeup a comfort she wasn't ready to let go of. Yet, every stroke felt like a reminder of the person she had been trying to hide. One morning, as she stood before the mirror, she decided to try something different. She applied only a light touch of makeup, enough to feel put together but far from the full face she used to wear. The reflection staring back at her was more natural, more authentic. She felt exposed but also strangely liberated. At school, the reactions were mixed. Some students seemed not to notice the change, while others offered supportive smiles and encouraging words. Lucas and Henry, as always, stood by her side, their presence a comforting constant. "Lily, you look great," Lucas said with a grin. "I mean it, this suits you." Henry nodded in agreement. "It's really brave of you, Lily. You're showing everyone what true confidence looks like." But not everyone was supportive. There were still whispers and snickers, reminders that not everyone was ready to accept her for who she was. One day, as she was walking to her locker, she overheard a group of girls talking. "Do you think she really feels confident, or is she just pretending?" one of them said. "Maybe she's just trying to get more attention," another added. Lily's heart sank, the familiar sting of doubt creeping in. She knew this journey would be difficult, but the harsh reality of people's judgments was harder to bear than she had anticipated. That evening, as she sat at home, Lily felt a wave of frustration. She had come so far, but it seemed like no matter what she did, there were always obstacles in her path. She decided to talk to her parents, seeking their advice and support. Her mother listened intently as Lily poured out her heart. "Mom, I don't know if I can keep doing this. It's like no matter what I do, people will always judge me." Her mother reached out, gently holding her hand. "Lily, the world can be a harsh place, but remember, you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for yourself. True acceptance comes from within. The people who matter will see your worth, no matter what." Her father's voice joined in, steady and reassuring. "We're proud of you, Lily. You've shown so much courage. Keep being true to yourself, and the right people will stand by you." Their words gave Lily the strength she needed to continue. She realized that her journey wasn't just about proving something to others. It was about finding peace within herself. She decided to take small steps each day, gradually reducing her reliance on makeup and embracing her natural beauty. The next week, Lily made a bold decision. She went to school with no makeup at all. Her heart raced as she walked through the halls, feeling every gaze upon her. But she held her head high, determined to face whatever came her way. The day was challenging, filled with moments of insecurity and doubt. But as the hours passed, she began to notice something remarkable. The supportive smiles grew more frequent, the whispers less hostile. She even received a note in her locker from an anonymous student, saying, "You're an inspiration. Thank you for showing us what real courage looks like." Lily's heart swelled with a mixture of relief and pride. She had confronted reality, faced her fears, and emerged stronger. The journey to self-acceptance was far from over, but she knew she was on the right path. With each step, she was learning to love herself for who she truly was, unadorned and authentic. As she walked home that day, the sun setting behind her, Lily felt a sense of peace she had never known. She was no longer hiding, no longer afraid. She was Lily Johnson, and she was enough. Lily Johnson had taken a bold step towards embracing her true self, but the journey was far from over. The support of her friends became more crucial than ever, acting as a lifeline as she navigated the complexities of self-acceptance and societal expectations. One sunny afternoon, Lily found herself sitting with her friends in the school courtyard. Lucas, always the life of the group, was recounting a funny story from his latest family vacation, his animated gestures making everyone laugh. Lily couldn't help but feel grateful for moments like these, where she could just be herself, free from judgment. Henry, noticing her thoughtful expression, nudged her gently. "Penny for your thoughts, Lily?" She smiled, feeling the warmth of his friendship. "Just thinking about how much things have changed, and how grateful I am for all of you." Jessica, who had become one of Lily's closest confidants, leaned in. "We've got your back, Lily. Always." Lily's heart swelled with gratitude. These friends had seen her through her highs and lows, offering unwavering support and acceptance. It was a stark contrast to the days when she felt alone, hiding behind her makeup. Their friendship gave her the strength to keep moving forward, even on the toughest days. One day, after school, Lucas suggested they all go hiking at a nearby nature reserve. "It'll be fun, a great way to clear our heads and enjoy the outdoors," he said, his enthusiasm infectious. Lily hesitated, feeling a flicker of anxiety. She had never gone hiking without her makeup, worried about how she would look in the natural light. But then she looked around at her friends, their faces filled with encouragement and excitement. She decided to push her fears aside and join them. The hike turned out to be a transformative experience. As they walked along the winding trails, surrounded by the beauty of nature, Lily felt a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in a long time. The fresh air, the sounds of birds chirping, and the laughter of her friends made her forget about her insecurities. At one point, they reached a clearing with a stunning view of the valley below. They all sat down, catching their breath and taking in the scenery. Lucas pulled out his phone and started snapping photos of the group, capturing their joy and camaraderie. "Lily, come on, let's take a selfie," he called out, pulling her into the frame. She hesitated for a moment, then smiled and joined him. As she looked at the photo later, she saw something beautiful. Her natural self, surrounded by friends who loved her for who she truly was. The moment was a powerful reminder that she didn't need makeup to be accepted or valued. Henry, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. You know, Lily, you're like this view. Beautiful just as you are, without any embellishments. Jessica nodded in agreement. He's right. You shine brightest when you're just being yourself. The words resonated deeply with Lily. She realized that her friends saw her true beauty, not just the surface-level appearance she had once been so obsessed with. Their support was a constant reminder that she was enough, just as she was. Over the following weeks, Lily continued to lean on her friends for support. They encouraged her to pursue her passions, to speak up in class, and to take risks she would have once avoided. Each step she took towards embracing her true self was met with their cheers and high fives, their belief in her fueling her own self-confidence. One evening, as they gathered for a movie night at Jessica's house, Lily looked around at her friends, feeling a profound sense of belonging. They had seen her at her most vulnerable and had stood by her without hesitation. Their support had been instrumental in her journey, helping her to see that true beauty came from within. As the credits rolled on the screen and they all settled into comfortable silence, Lily knew that with friends like these, she could face any challenge. Their unwavering support had given her the courage to embrace her true self, and for that, she would be forever grateful. Lily Johnson's journey towards self-acceptance was a winding road, filled with both victories and setbacks. With the unwavering support of her friends, she had made significant strides in embracing her true self, but there was still work to be done. Each day presented new challenges and opportunities for growth. One pivotal moment came during a school assembly. The principal announced an upcoming talent show, encouraging students to showcase their unique abilities. The idea excited Lily, but it also filled her with dread. Performing in front of the entire school without her makeup felt like an insurmountable challenge. That evening, as she sat with her friends at their favorite cafe, the topic of the talent show came up. Lucas, always the enthusiastic one, leaned forward with a grin. "You should totally do it, Lily. Show everyone your incredible art skills." Lily hesitated, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her coffee cup. "I don't know, Lucas. The thought of being on stage without my makeup, it's terrifying." Jessica reached across the table and squeezed Lily's hand. "You don't have to wear makeup to be amazing, Lily. Your talent speaks for itself." Henry nodded in agreement. "You should do what feels right for you, but just know that we'll be there, cheering you on, no matter what." Their encouragement planted a seed of determination in Lily's heart. She decided to take the plunge and sign up for the talent show. It was a daunting prospect, but she knew it was an important step in her journey towards self-acceptance. The weeks leading up to the talent show were a whirlwind of preparation and self-reflection. Lily spent hours perfecting her performance, pouring her heart and soul into her artwork. She chose to create a live painting, a representation of her journey and the beauty of embracing one's true self. The night of the talent show arrived, and the school auditorium buzzed with excitement. Lily stood backstage, her heart pounding in her chest. She had chosen to wear minimal makeup, just enough to feel comfortable but far from the elaborate looks she used to rely on. Her friends gathered around her, offering words of encouragement and support. "You've got this, Lily," Lucas said, giving her a thumbs up. "Show them what you're made of." When it was her turn to take the stage, Lily took a deep breath and stepped into the spotlight. The bright lights momentarily blinded her, but as her eyes adjusted, she saw the faces of her friends in the audience, their expressions filled with pride and encouragement. She began her performance, each brushstroke deliberate and filled with emotion. As the painting took shape, a hush fell over the crowd. Lily's nerves gradually eased, replaced by a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She was not just showcasing her talent, she was sharing a piece of her soul, revealing the beauty of vulnerability and authenticity. When she finished, the auditorium erupted in applause. Lily stepped back, taking in the sight of her completed work, a vibrant, intricate painting that captured her journey of self-discovery. Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized the significance of the moment. She had faced her fears and emerged stronger. As she walked off the stage, her friends enveloped her in a group hug. "You were incredible, Lily," Jessica exclaimed. "I'm so proud of you." Henry smiled, his eyes reflecting admiration. "You showed everyone the true meaning of beauty tonight." Lily felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The path to acceptance had been challenging, but moments like this made it all worthwhile. She knew there would still be difficult days ahead, but she was more confident than ever in her ability to navigate them. In the days that followed, Lily received an outpouring of support from her classmates and teachers. Many students approached her, inspired by her courage and authenticity. Her performance had resonated with them, reminding everyone that true beauty came from within. Lily continued to embrace her journey, taking each day as it came. She knew that self-acceptance was not a destination but a continuous process of growth and learning. With the love and support of her friends, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in the knowledge that she was enough just as she was. Lily Johnson's newfound confidence and acceptance of her true self had led her to a significant moment of realization. It was time to make a courageous decision, one that would test her resolve and further solidify her journey towards self-acceptance. She decided to reveal her true self to the entire school, not just through a performance, but by embracing her natural appearance every day. The decision weighed heavily on her mind as she thought about the potential backlash and the reactions of her peers. But she knew that living authentically was the only way to truly be free. She shared her plan with her closest friends during their usual after-school hangout at the cafe. "I've decided to stop wearing makeup altogether," Lily announced, her voice steady but filled with anticipation. "I want to show everyone that I'm comfortable in my own skin." Lucas grinned and gave her a high five. "That's amazing, Lily. You have all our support." Jessica nodded, her eyes shining with pride. "We're with you every step of the way." Henry, always the steady presence, looked at her with admiration. "You have incredible courage, Lily. This will inspire so many people." The following Monday, Lily woke up early, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. She stood in front of the mirror, taking a deep breath as she looked at her reflection. Today was the day she would face the world as her true self. No makeup, no mask, just Lily. As she walked to school, she felt a wave of anxiety, but she reminded herself of the support of her friends and the strength she had discovered within. The first few steps into the school felt like walking into the unknown, but she held her head high, determined to see this through. The hallways were buzzing with the usual morning chatter, but as students noticed Lily, the conversations hushed and curious glances followed her. She could hear whispers and feel the weight of their stares, but she pressed on, focusing on the encouraging words of her friends. Her first class was English, and as she entered the room, Mr. Thompson paused, his eyes widening slightly. "Good morning, Lily," he said, his voice kind and welcoming. Lily smiled and took her seat, feeling a surge of relief. She could do this. Throughout the day, she encountered a range of reactions. Some students were surprised, others indifferent, and a few offered quiet words of support. The most meaningful responses came from those who had been silently struggling with their own insecurities. During lunch, Emily approached her with a shy smile. "Lily, I just wanted to say thank you. Seeing you like this, it gives me the courage to be more myself too." Lily's heart warmed at Emily's words. "Thank you, Emily. It means a lot to hear that." The day continued, and while there were moments of doubt and insecurity, the overwhelming support from her friends and some classmates kept her going. By the end of the day, she felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. She had faced her fears head-on and had emerged stronger. As she walked home, Lily reflected on the day's events. She knew that this was just the beginning of a long journey, but she felt more prepared than ever to face it. Her courageous decision had not only helped her, but had also begun to inspire others to embrace their true selves. That evening, as she sat with her family at dinner, her parents noticed the change in her demeanor. "You seem different today, Lily," her mother said, her eyes filled with curiosity and concern. Lily smiled, feeling the weight of her decision lift off her shoulders. "I decided to stop wearing makeup and show the world my true self. It was scary, but it felt right." Her father reached out and squeezed her hand. "We're so proud of you, Lily. You're an incredible young woman, inside and out." With her family's support, along with her friends and newfound confidence, Lily felt ready to continue her journey. She knew that there would still be challenges ahead, but she also knew that she had the strength and courage to face them. The courageous decision to be her true self had set her free, and she was ready to embrace whatever the future held. Lily Johnson's brave decision to go without makeup had set the entire school abuzz. The reactions were as varied as the students themselves, ranging from supportive to skeptical. Walking through the hallways that week, Lily felt a new kind of scrutiny, but also a sense of liberation. She was no longer hiding, and that made her feel more alive than ever. Some students admired her courage. "Lily, you're amazing," said Mia, a quiet girl from her history class. I wish I had your confidence. Others were curious but kind. Why did you decide to do it? Asked Daniel, a member of the debate team. It's really inspiring. Lily smiled at him, grateful for the positive attention. I just wanted to be honest with myself and everyone else. It's been a long journey. Not all reactions were positive, though. In the cafeteria, she overheard a group of girls whispering. Do you think she's doing this for attention? One of them said. Another added, maybe she just couldn't keep up with the makeup anymore. Lily's heart tightened, but she took a deep breath and continued on. She reminded herself that not everyone would understand, and that was okay. She was doing this for herself, not for their approval. Her friends were her biggest supporters. At their usual lunch table, Lucas and Jessica were full of energy, discussing weekend plans. We should go hiking again, Lucas suggested. It was so much fun last time. Jessica nodded enthusiastically. And we should definitely do another movie night soon. Henry, sitting next to Lily, leaned in and whispered, You're handling this really well, you know? Lily smiled gratefully. Thanks, Henry. I couldn't do it without you guys. One afternoon, the school principal, Mrs. Harris, asked to see Lily in her office. Lily's mind raced with possibilities as she made her way there. Had she done something wrong? Was there a complaint? Mrs. Harris greeted her with a warm smile. Lily, I just wanted to commend you on your bravery. What you're doing is very inspiring. It's not easy to be so open about something so personal. Lily felt a wave of relief. Thank you, Mrs. Harris. That means a lot to me. You're setting a wonderful example for your peers, the principal continued. I hope you know that. As Lily left the office, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was making a difference, even if it was in small ways. Her journey was touching others, and that was more than she had ever hoped for. The days turned into weeks, and slowly the initial buzz began to die down. Lily settled into her new normal, her confidence growing with each passing day. She joined the theater club, encouraged by Lucas, and found a new passion in acting. It was another way to express herself, to channel her emotions and experiences. During rehearsals, she discovered that the stage allowed her to explore different facets of her identity. She could be anyone she wanted to be, yet she felt more herself than ever. The support from her friends and the theater community was unwavering. One evening, after a particularly intense rehearsal, the director, Mr. Caldwell, pulled her aside. Lily, you have a natural talent, he said. Your authenticity shines through in every performance. Keep it up. His words echoed in her mind as she walked home, a smile playing on her lips. She was finding her place, not just in school, but in her own life. The journey had been difficult, but it had also been rewarding. Lily's decision to embrace her true self had sparked a ripple effect throughout the school. More students began to open up about their own struggles, inspired by her courage. The atmosphere became one of greater acceptance and understanding, a community growing stronger through shared vulnerabilities. As she lay in bed that night, reflecting on the day's events, Lily felt a deep sense of peace. She had faced her fears and come out stronger. The reaction of the school had been a mix of support and skepticism, but she had stayed true to herself, and that, she realized, was the most important thing of all. With each passing day, Lily Johnson felt more empowered. Her journey of self-acceptance had brought her to a place of genuine confidence. The reactions from her peers had varied, but she had stayed true to herself, and that authenticity was now her greatest strength. One morning, as Lily prepared for school, she looked at her reflection in the mirror and smiled. She no longer saw imperfections. She saw a girl who had overcome tremendous odds to embrace her true self. Her natural face, free of makeup, was a testament to her resilience and courage. At school, the atmosphere had shifted noticeably. Lily's decision to go without makeup had sparked conversations about beauty standards, self-acceptance, and authenticity. Her classmates were beginning to see the value in embracing their true selves, inspired by her example. In the weeks leading up to the school's annual Empowerment Day, the Student Council invited Lily to give a speech. The event was designed to celebrate individuality and promote self-esteem among students. Lily was honored but also nervous about speaking in front of the entire school. On the day of the event, the auditorium buzzed with excitement. Students filled the seats, and the stage was set with a simple podium and a banner that read, "Be yourself, be proud." Lily took a deep breath as she stepped onto the stage, her heart pounding in her chest. She looked out at the sea of faces, some familiar, some not, and began to speak. Hi, everyone. My name is Lily Johnson, and today I want to talk to you about something very personal, the journey to self-acceptance. She paused, gathering her thoughts. For a long time, I hid behind makeup, using it as a shield to protect myself from the harsh judgments of others. I thought that if I looked perfect on the outside, no one would see my insecurities and flaws. But I was wrong. Lily continued, her voice growing stronger with each word. What I've learned is that true beauty comes from within. It's about being honest with yourself and others. It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all. And most importantly, it's about having the courage to be vulnerable. As she spoke, she could see nods of agreement and hear murmurs of support. The audience was engaged, hanging on her every word. When I decided to stop wearing makeup, it was one of the scariest decisions of my life, but it was also the most empowering. I discovered that I didn't need to hide anymore. I could be myself, and that was enough. Lily's eyes scanned the crowd, landing on her friends who had been her rock throughout this journey. I couldn't have done this alone. My friends Lucas, Jessica, Henry, Emily, and so many others stood by me and reminded me of my worth. Their support gave me the strength to keep going, even on the toughest days. Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she neared the end of her speech. So, my message to you all is this: don't be afraid to be yourself. Embrace your uniqueness, celebrate your flaws, and most importantly, support each other. We are all on this journey together, and together, we can create a community where everyone feels valued and accepted. The auditorium erupted in applause as Lily finished her speech. She stepped back from the podium, overwhelmed with emotion. Her friends rushed onto the stage, enveloping her in a group hug. "You were amazing, Lily," Jessica whispered, her eyes shining with pride. Lucas grinned and gave her a thumbs up. "You nailed it." Henry, ever the quiet support, simply squeezed her hand and smiled. As the event continued, Lily felt a profound sense of empowerment. She had shared her story, and in doing so, had touched the hearts of many. The school community was beginning to change, embracing a culture of acceptance and understanding. In the days that followed, Lily noticed a ripple effect. More students began to open up about their own struggles, finding strength in vulnerability. The hallways buzzed with conversations about self-acceptance and the importance of being true to oneself. Lily's journey had not only transformed her own life, but had also sparked a movement within her school. She had discovered the true power of authenticity, and with it, had inspired others to do the same. Empowered by her experiences and the support of her friends, Lily looked forward to the future with hope and excitement, ready to face whatever came her way with confidence and grace. The school year was drawing to a close, and with it came a sense of reflection and anticipation. For Lily Johnson, it marked the end of one of the most transformative periods of her life. She had faced her fears, embraced her true self, and inspired a movement of acceptance within her school. But as one chapter ended, a new one was about to begin. Lily sat at her favorite spot under the oak tree in the school courtyard, the place where so much had changed for her. She flipped through her sketchbook, the pages filled with drawings that chronicled her journey. Each sketch told a story of growth, resilience, and the power of authenticity. Her friends joined her, their laughter and chatter filling the air. Lucas, ever the enthusiastic one, was recounting a funny incident from class, while Jessica and Emily planned their summer adventures. Henry sat beside Lily, quietly sketching in his own notebook. "So, what's next for you, Lily?" Henry asked, his eyes reflecting genuine curiosity. Lily smiled, feeling a surge of excitement. "I've been thinking a lot about that. I want to continue sharing my story, maybe start a blog or a YouTube channel. I want to reach more people, help them find the courage to be themselves." Lucas nodded vigorously. "That's an awesome idea. You have so much to share, and your story can inspire so many more people." Jessica grinned. "And we'll be your biggest supporters. You won't be doing this alone." Their encouragement filled Lily with determination. The idea of starting a blog or channel had been lingering in her mind, and now it felt like the perfect next step. She wanted to create a platform where she could continue spreading the message of self-acceptance and authenticity. As the final days of school unfolded, Lily prepared for graduation with a mixture of nostalgia and excitement. The ceremony was a beautiful affair, filled with speeches, laughter, and a few tears. Lily walked across the stage to receive her diploma, feeling a sense of accomplishment and pride. She had not only succeeded academically, but had also grown into a person she was truly proud of. After the ceremony, the students gathered for one last celebration. The courtyard was adorned with lights and decorations, and music filled the air. Lily and her friends danced and laughed, cherishing these final moments together. Amidst the festivities, Lily found a quiet corner to reflect. She thought about the journey she had taken, from the girl who hid behind makeup to the young woman who stood confidently in her own skin. She had faced challenges and doubts, but with the support of her friends and her own inner strength, she had emerged stronger and more empowered. Henry joined her, handing her a small wrapped gift. "For you, Lily, just a little something to remember this year by." Lily unwrapped the gift to find a beautiful necklace with a pendant shaped like a butterfly. "It's perfect," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you, Henry. It's a symbol of transformation," Henry explained, "just like you've transformed this year, from a caterpillar to a butterfly." Lily felt tears well up in her eyes. She hugged Henry tightly, grateful for his friendship and support. "I couldn't have done it without you," she whispered. As the night drew to a close, Lily stood with her friends, looking up at the stars. The future was filled with endless possibilities, and she felt ready to embrace it. She had learned that true beauty came from within, and that being authentic was the greatest strength of all. The new chapter in her life was just beginning, and with it came the promise of new adventures, new challenges, and new opportunities to inspire others. Lily Johnson was ready to face the future, confident in who she was and excited for what lay ahead. With a final look at her friends, Lily knew that no matter where life took her, she would carry the lessons and love of this transformative year with her. She was ready to soar, like the butterfly she had become, embracing her new chapter with open arms and an open heart.